So my father's story is a remarkable story. I mean, he was born in Italy, came to the United States as a young boy, and ended up going to St. Dominic's High School after doing well at St. Patrick's Grade School. And there was no Catholic high school in Glen Cove. So we think that he was one of the first classes of St. Patrick's graduates to actually go all the way on the long journey over to Oyster Bay.
I graduated St. Patrick's in 1926, and I went the next, we were the first class from Glen Cove that went to St. Dominic's.
He would take the train from the Glen Street station over to the Oyster Bay station, and then he'd walk to school from the station, often stopping at Nick Sordy's house, whose family had a grocery store in downtown Oyster Bay. So he'd stop there and hang out with him and then walk to school together. Well, not everybody was going to high school in those days, obviously. We look at things differently. You know, going to high school you take for granted. The idea of going to high school and leaving your town to go all the way over to Oyster Bay every day was a big deal.
The education was great. We had excellent teachers.
He thinks he was the #1 student, but he won't say that. I mean, but he says he was the #1 student until his cousin Joe came there a few years later and he beat his grades, so that was a big deal.
Well, I try to be modest.
And then he went to Fordham University at the Woolworth Building in downtown Manhattan over by City Hall. Half the people on B-24s died. And most people would never, ever do more than 25 missions. That was the maximum you would ever do. He was on 35 missions. One time the plane went down. I don't know if they ran out of gas or they got hit. He never really made that clear. He went down somewhere in Italy, and he needed a ride back to where his base was. And there were some Italian POWs there, and the war was ending. So he said, "Can I take those guys with me?" So he took them back to his hometown. Wanted to go to law school, and the guy said to him, "Why don't you go to Harvard?" He said, "Oh, I don't know if I could get into Harvard." And he ended up going to Harvard Law School, which was really a remarkable accomplishment for an Italian immigrant.
First post-war class at Harvard, so I got in. I guess they didn't have enough Italians yet.
Thinking to go to Harvard Law School, you go to a big New York City law firm or something like that, but Italians weren't going to white shoe law firms in those days. So he went back to Glen Cove, and he teamed up with another Italian guy, Luke Mercandanti, and Luke Mercandanti ran for mayor, and my father ran for city court judge. And because of the Italian-American support within the city of Glen Cove, he became the youngest judge in the history of New York State at 28 years old. He actually met my mother at a Knights of Columbus dance. He went up to her and said, "You know, if you had been dancing with me, you would have won that dance competition." She said, "I wouldn't dance with you. You're too short." He said, "Well, take your shoes off." And you see. No exaggeration. I've met so many people in my life, obviously, through politics and just normal living. My father and mother are the best people I know. And they're generous, and they're thoughtful, and they're humble, and they're giving. And there's always been a sense throughout my entire life that, you know, you always have to just do the right thing. Even when nobody's watching, you do the right thing.
And worked out for me anyway.
And I'm sure that, you know, his education from St. Patrick's and St. Dominic's and even Fordham had a big part to do with that. Of just, you know, no matter what it is, the rules are the rules, and you always do the right thing, and you always try and help other people.
I got what I wanted. I went to law school. I wanted to go into politics. I went into politics. I was successful in politics, and then I became a judge and retired. So I had a very good life.
Mr. Nee was my 9th grade earth science teacher. I'm an English teacher, so I'm sure you probably can imagine that I'm not much of a science person. However, I always knew that I was going to pass earth science because he gave me that confidence that no matter what, I was going to pass the Regents, which, if you know me, was not an easy feat.
I've been observing him for throughout the fall, and I'll see him do things now that he did with me 15 years ago. And I mean, I remember basically word for word him saying the exact same things then. It's cool seeing that now in the same way he did then.
Mr. Nee was always very organized. There was a structure and an order to the class. And I think that if anything I take away from my experience in earth science as an English teacher, it's that structure and that order.
I think in terms of work ethic, in terms of making sure you put the work in that you have to, taking it seriously, not just trying to squeeze by doing nothing, definitely.
I try to instill the fact that you got to work hard.
He always had a way to make it enjoyable. You knew you were really learning, and he had a way of conveying the information so that you remembered it later on.
About me, they always sit there and say that, you never smile, and I have an answer for them, and that's my answer.
Normally it's freshmen taking the class, so it's kind of the first thing they're going to see, and they need to learn early on that I need to put the work in, and I'll see results from this. And
I can't think of anything that we would, tease Mr. Nee about, except for the fact that he's a big Packers fan. So I remember he had a cheese tie that he would wear during the football season, and that was something that we would, kind of josh him about.
Off in the morning class, you got to wake them up, and you got to get at them. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. I got to get something out of it. By the afternoon, it's come on, let's tone down.
He was out there in the cold, in a spandex, running with those girls, making them run around the campus, and just his upbeat, stick-to-it attitude.
Inspiring athletes is totally different. With them, it's a little bit more laid back, and generally with the athletes, you got to keep them more relaxed, I find, particularly in running.
I went into your file earlier to try to find out exactly how many years it is that you've been here at St. Dominic's. And unfortunately, because when you arrived here at St. Dominic's, we were using typewriters, the date has worn off. But I do believe it is somewhere in the late 80s. I also know that it has been, I believe, 40 years that you have committed to Catholic education, which is an absolutely wonderful achievement, and this award is most certainly well-deserved for you. Congratulations.
The current students that I have, they don't seem to be, that real excited or thrilled about, the way I teach. But then after they've been in another class, some year, they all keep coming back and saying how much they enjoyed my class and how much they missed it. So I don't think it actually clicks for them until they've left.
Mr. Nee definitely, my first year here at St. Dom's as a teacher, took me under his wing, and he gave me some advice, some words of wisdom, and they definitely stay with me today.
Dennis, congratulations on this great honor that you're receiving tonight. But for more than 2 decades, you've called St. Dominic's your home. So I know that as you transition from here to a well-deserved rest and retirement, that you always consider us home, and you come and visit. But congratulations on this tonight.
If I had to put down one thing, one of the questions is, why have I been here so long? And I don't think there's any one particular person I could thank. I think really I have to thank the parents for sending their children to us. I'm kind of stealing Father Smith's thunder here, but he says it often, he says that, he wants to thank the parents for entrusting us with our children. And that's really the way I feel, too. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that the parents keep trusting me and my colleagues, to bring their children to this school, then we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have been here for 28 years, So I think it goes back to the parents.
So coming up through St. Dom's, just to begin with, I've always been involved with sports. I played at some level. I went to elementary school at St. Dominic's as well. I played on baseball teams, basketball teams, and soccer teams. I think that my teammates in high school actually knew me as like the guy that was there for 6 games and left. And I started competing and stuff, being actively a part of the national luge team when I was in 6th grade. And so from that point on, I was gone from school and then coming back in March. So it's a really difficult process, especially at that point. Internet was just coming about, actually. So we were faxing, and I had a duffel bag full of books. So I'd go away with my 150-pound bag of books, and all of these faxes and prepared notes and stuff that I had to complete for the teachers. But the teachers at St. Dom's and the staff there really helped to let me go away. So if you want to know what being a luge athlete's like, just imagine being on a water slide going Mach 1. You're flying down the track, you're going up on walls at really high speeds. It's ice, so it's always cold. You're not wearing a lot of clothes. You're in tights. So, I mean, what's better than that? People ask sometimes, you know, why we're not scared doing what we do. And I think it's just because we start so early. Because now in my later life, I don't know if I'd go on a luge sled going 80 miles an hour down a track. But when you're 13 years old, it seems like a really good idea. It's a huge honor to have that. I can't even tell you, walking into the opening ceremonies was like it was the most incredible experience of my life. You have two conflicting worlds. You have the athlete that has to go away and compete for his international season, wherever, and then you have the student that has to do their work. St. Doms really helped me to get through both of those things at the same time by allowing me to go away, giving me my work. I got a ton of support from the teachers and the students to go away, and that's something that a lot of the athletes on the team didn't have. I'd like to thank the alumni at St. Dominic's, the faculty, the staff, everyone that supported me through my time at St. Doms. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there to accept this award personally, as I'm at this moment probably, well, not at this moment, but at that moment, going to be competing in Europe still. You know, this is a really tough job. I have to do it all the time, and hopefully in another 4 years I can get to the games. So I just want to say thank you again, and have a nice night.
Well, I love what I do. You know, if you don't love what you do, don't do what you love. You know, it's very, very important. You know, I always tell people when I wake up in the morning, I love going to work because I love making a difference in kids' lives.
Yeah, Michelle was, she was probably the best athlete in the high school, out of the boys and girls.
One saying that sticks in my mind from being here was anytime being a student, if you were like out of dress code or you're just being rambunctious during school hours, she'd be like, hey you, cut it out, you got it? And it was, you got it, like in quotation marks.
Get on the line.
Oh yeah, obviously, get on the line is every coach's go-to, but I guess when you heard her say it, it was kind of like, okay, we really need to listen.
If you cut corners on the court, you'll cut corners in life.
Don't cut corners on the court, you're gonna cut corners in life.
Get over here. So that meant something was going on and you needed to get over here right now.
And she would call these plays and she would go, happy birthday! And the funniest one to this day I always remember is Scuba Steve!
We knew she was a little crazy, yeah.
She knows what she has to do, and she knows how she has to do it.
If you're not working hard on the field or if you're not working hard on the court, you're not going to work hard in life.
We're usually winning by like 15, 20 points. So she puts on rules as like, once you get over the half-court line, you can't dribble anymore. So if one girl on the team dribbles, she'll take her out right away. Doesn't care who she is. She's the best player, the worst player on the team.
She usually goes, yeah, James, take a shower. A lot.
It's not how talented a kid is, it's how hard you can get them to work and where you can get them to go. And we've had a lot of girls come in here as girls turn into young ladies, and we force them to work as hard as they can, sacrifice their own personal time for the team, and we've been very fortunate to win, but you know, winning is not always everything on the court. You have to win in life, and that's one of the biggest things we focus in on.
She is always putting the students first. If there is a student that has a particular need, Michelle O'Brien is the first to offer any sort of assistance.
You know, her family is very giving through St. Dominic's, Oyster Bay. She really knows how to mobilize resources to help people.
Miss O'Brien, you're in the gym at 6:30 in the morning till midnight. I mean, I don't think there's ever a time I've come up to St. Dom's without your car being in the parking lot.
She has got the biggest heart. She's loud. Everyone can hear when Michelle's in the room. But we all know that her heart is for the children.
And then we knew that once we stepped off the court, she would do anything for us.
And I had a basketball game with the 5th grade girls, so I had to be the head coach for the first time ever. And I don't know how she does it. I was so like, I don't know, it was hard.
Michelle has been a wonderful coach, teacher, mentor, and friend. To my children, to our whole family. She brings enthusiasm to to everything she does here at St. Dominic's. She's been a great role model.
She was my basketball and lacrosse coach, and I guess you would say it was kind of difficult playing for your mom.
So back in the day, she used to coach me and my buddies in basketball. And to this day, some of my friends still say that she was like the best coach we've all ever had, because she was the most like hardcore, down your throat, like she didn't care at all. Like, she was good though.
The coaching for basketball and the coaching at home is different, as though she doesn't make us run as much, but I know she does that on the basketball court.
She very much believes that what they learn here at St. Dominic's is something that they will keep for the rest of their life.
She taught us a lot about working hard and, you know, not only on the court, but definitely in life.
And for all that, we are deeply indebted to her. I wanted to say to Michelle, congratulations. You deserve this great honor, being an inaugural member of the Hall of Fame here at St. Dominic's.
You played a role in my family's life and every other girl who passed through the program. I know each of their families can speak highly of you.
She always reach out. What are you doing? Where are you? What's going on? She wants to know because she cares. It wasn't just about basketball playing for Miss O'Brien. It was more of like a family.
It is. I mean, when kids come in here and they walk out and they get that full scholarship, it's very rewarding. But now, 27 years later, you know, you go on the computer, every other kid is corporate America, teacher, a coach, you know, a mother of 3, call you up at midnight, knock at my door at midnight, Mrs. O'Brien, where are you? Coach Coochie, where are you? And that's when it is very, very, you know, rewarding, when you see kids and they come back and they truly, you know, appreciate everything that you've done for them.
She's the epitome of St. Dominic's. I mean, she came through it, she works there, and she loves it. I mean, how, you know, where do you find that in today's world? You don't. Most people are transplants.
Someone who really has grown up in the parish family of St. Dominic, you truly epitomize the families of St. Dominic. Both your mother and as well as your kids that have been part of this parish for so long. It's just been so great to know you. Congratulations on this honor, and God bless.
She's a wonderful mom. She's a great role model, and I don't know, she's just a great person all around. So I just want to thank you for being awesome.
Congratulations, and thank you for everything.
Congrats, Mom, on the great achievement. On and off the basketball court, you're a great mom and a great role model, and I want to thank you for that.
Congratulations. Stop touching us. Congratulations, Mom. We love you. You're saying congratulations, Mom.
I'm a little happy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be enthusiastic. Seriously, this is the last time. Congratulations, Mom.
We love you.
Congratulations, Mom. We love you.